Folks, welcome to the Jake Feinberg Show, and joined tonight by a singer-songwriter, somebody who started on the streets and is working her way up to stardom.
Nice. High praise.
Chelsea Williams, welcome to the Jake Feinberg Show.
Thanks for having me on.
I want you to talk to people around the world. When you were in Michigan, busking on the streets, or Venice, was there ever a time when you thought about packing it in and walking away?
From music or just like for the day?
I'm talking about the idea of saying, why am I doing this?
Right. I mean, don't get me wrong, playing on the street can be tough. Like there are those days when there's just like literally hundreds of people walking by you and not stopping. And it's tough. You know, it's tough on the ego. It's hard physical work. But for the most part, every time I've ever played on the street, there's always, you know, whether it's one person or 50 people, there's always like at least one moment, if not 50 in a day, where it just becomes so rewarding. You know, somebody comes up and says, I changed their day, or somebody comes up and buys a CD and had seen me a couple years before and is excited that they ran into me again, you know? It's little things like that keep me going, you know?
I guess what I'm getting at is the adversity of being an independent musician in a pop world.
Right.
And how adversity, if you could talk about a specific time of adversity, how it made you stronger and helped you to the point where you're on the bandstand with some badasses tonight.
Right.
You know?
Right. Totally. Yeah. I mean, I've been around the ringer a little bit. You know, I've been signed to Interscope Records. They tried to kind of turn me into pop.
Explain what the pop. Explain how they pop do something pop. Can you explain? Is it just a physical appearance, or is it like changing hooks in your tunes?
It's like musical as well. You know, like the music had almost no real instruments. I think the guitar was the only real instrument. I wasn't playing the guitar on the recordings that we were making, that kind of thing. You know, even like the banjo that was on one of the songs was actually a keyboard banjo, which doesn't make any sense because I know a lot of pretty shit banjo players. I don't need to have somebody playing it on a keyboard.
So you basically said, I'm not doing this.
Yeah, I mean, I got to the point where it was just, it almost felt like they had never listened to my previous music, or they just didn't know me at all. And it you know, I ended up having to walk away and say, you know, this just isn't me. It's, I can't sell that. It's a lie, basically.
It's a lie.
Mm-hmm.
How can you trace back the lineage of your authenticity? I mean, that's because you probably passed up a lot of money in favor of yourself. So, I mean, how did you learn about authenticity early on in your life?
Oh, man. Well, I mean, I guess I grew up in a musical family. My mom was a singer, and I listened to people like, you know, Neil Young and Bob Dylan growing up, and, well, my mom didn't really like Bob Dylan, but your
mom was going for stardom.
Well,
she just wanted to go into the folk. What scene was it? The psychedelic scene, the folk scene?
My mom?
Yeah.
Oh, she was a songwriter. She was a folk songwriter. You know.
Right.
Yeah. But you know, I just grew up with music in my house, and it was always such a joy for me. And when it becomes work, that's when I know it's not right, and that's when I know I don't want to do it. When it feels like a grind.
How do you feel right now? What is the most liberating musical environment for Chelsea Williams? Is it always going to be, in some ways, even if you are one day flying Learjets and limos, is it always going to be the street? I mean, I dig that. That's why, you know.
I love playing the street. I can't foresee a day when I would not want to go back and play on the street. Explain
to peeps out there who are in academia or don't want to leave their bedroom, don't have gigs. Talk about creating your own opportunities in music.
There's something just so magical about going out and playing in a place where no one's really expecting to find you. You know, no one showed up to see you. And sometimes that can be a negative thing. Sometimes people call the cops on me for being too loud or whatever, and you know, which is fine. It's all a part of the adventure.
Is that illegal? Is it too late?
It's illegal if you play too loud. But I mean, I play acoustic guitar and I sing soft little folk songs.
It's all subjective too. I mean, how do you know that?
Right. Well, I mean, they actually do have a decibel reader that they come out and they'll test how loud you are. I've gotten tickets for being too loud before.
So you just like stirring the pot, and you think you'll always find a way to stay on the street?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Some people try to stay off the street. I'm looking to get on the street.
All right, why don't you play a tune for the audience?
Yeah, sure. I'm going to play a song called Fool's Gold. I actually had a video come out, an official music video.
You actually sang that on my radio show. I had you sing that.
Oh, awesome. All right, here we go. If only I could see right through you, sleeping dogs with light. If only I could take what's given and just be satisfied. I know it was just a fool's gold. I know I should fold. I know it was just a fool's gold. I know I should fold. I'll daisy chain my scattered brain, put me back in place, and send me down against the grain until you've been erased. I know it was just a fool's gold. I know I should fold. I know it was just a fool's gold. I know I should fold. If only I could see right through you, sleeping dogs with light. If only I could take what's given and just be satisfied. I know it was just a fool's gold. I know I should fold. I know it was just a fool's gold. I know I should fold. I know it was just a fool's gold. I know I should fold. I know it was just a fool's gold. I know I've been told.
Chelsea Williams on the Jake Feinberg show. How different is it expressing yourself? Is there any transition between street and being on the bandstand like you are tonight?
Oh, there's such a big transition. It's weird. It's weird. It's a little scary, with all, there's lights involved and there's like people who paid money to see a show. So there's like a lot more pressure, I feel like, to deliver.
What is the pressure that you feel? Is it an expectational pressure, or are you just like, why is that a big deal? Why can't you just still do what you do?
Well, I do. That's what I end up doing is but the anxiety still comes in, it creeps in, and it's like, oh, this is like, this isn't just like people actually paid money. I would be pissed if I paid money to see a show and somebody went up there and just like threw up on stage. Not that I've ever done that.
No, I love the honesty. The question is, can you talk about who discovered you?
I don't know.
There was a cat that came along and said, I want to produce a, right? There was something along those lines. There was some intersection there.
I've had several people find me playing on the street. I've met a producer named Toby Gadd who ended up taking me to Interscope, and that's why I got that situation going on.
Yes.
So Toby's an awesome guy. He's a fantastic pop songwriter, fantastic pop producer. It just wasn't probably the right fit for me exactly,
So how do you wind up sort of letting a relationship go like that when you're so adverse to that pop scene?
Mm-hmm.
I'm just talking about how you interpersonally handle that. Is it obvious just from the music? Not much needs to be said.
Yeah, I guess it was pretty obvious in the music, and I think we were in totally different headspaces. Like I said, he's the one who was putting the synthesized banjo, which is fine. I get it for pop music, and he produces a lot for Natasha Bedingfield and that sort of thing. He's written songs for Beyonce, who are fantastic artists. Not knocking them at all, but it's just totally.
You need the human heart to play behind you. There's no artificial stuff.
Right. It's just different for me, and music is so personal for me. It's hard for me to feel genuine when I'm singing something that doesn't feel good. It's for me. It's about joy, and if it's not fun, I can't get behind it.
So explain to the audience worldwide where you're at right now in terms of like who's getting you gigs, what kind of venues are you playing, and like are you like you were in Tucson a while back with Rusty and singing with him and
yeah that was awesome.
And so I mean, explain where you're at right now.
I will. And I'm so sorry I have to interrupt
you
because I'm actually at a gig right now, and you know this, but everybody else doesn't. I'm at the Canyon Club, and I'm about to sound check, and I think I just got a text from the sound guy, so I'm gonna just check it real quick.
Yeah, dude, check it. I mean, it's.
Good. It just they're letting me know they're running late, so that's even better.
Yeah, because the gig's not till 7, so.
Right, but yeah, sound check is always early. And luckily, I get to sing with Mark tonight. That's very exciting. I'm opening for Mark Cohn, and I get to sing a song with him. So that's what.
And you're going to play an opening set, though.
And I'm playing a 40-minute opening set. I'm really looking forward to it.
Why don't you play another tune for the audience?
Yeah. Let's see.
A deeply personal tune, although they all are.
Personal tune. Yeah. Okay. I'll do a little bit of Dreamcatcher. This is called Dreamcatcher. Siberian bed. Hey sister, tell me, how'd you get to the place where you hear one voice in your head? I've got a little dream catcher, feathers so white, it sings me sweet lullaby. Got a little dream catcher, that you take. You know he moves in mysterious ways, honey, but it ain't no reason to hate. I've got a little dream catcher, eases my mind, sings me a sweet lullaby. Got a little dream catcher, feathers so white,
How did you develop your internal time feel, your rhythm?
Oh man.
I mean, was that something you worked out on the street? Were you always just right? Because I mean, your rhythm is right on.
Oh, thank you.
No, I feel like if you're playing with a live band, you're probably driving the rhythm.
Right, yeah, generally, which is actually different for me because I've spent hundreds of hours, or not more than that, thousands of hours playing on the street alone, just being the guitar. So it's like it's actually pretty different for me playing with people because I've noticed that I do have, I play with time a little bit, which can be annoying.
I want you to talk about not being uptight about tempo slowing up or speeding down.
I think it's important to let the song breathe. I really do. I think.
Explain why.
Well, I mean, I think that there are different emotions and things that come out, and if you're stuck to a metronomic time, I just feel like it's limiting. It's limiting. There's some notes just need an extra beat, or some notes just need an extra quarter of a beat, just because. And it's hard to explain, but I think that it's very important. I feel like when you're stuck on a metronome, you lose some emotion. Some emotion gets lost.
When you're with a band, like a rhythm section tonight, will you tell them play the notes round and play free, play loose? I mean, if they're playing too metronomically.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I don't play with drummers that often. I'm not playing with a drummer tonight.
You're not?
It's just me and a harmonica player.
Oh, those are the chops right there.
Yeah, so it's going to be a lot of fun. Sometimes I've started playing foot percussion with myself, so I have this stomp board it's like a piece of wood with a mic in it. Basically, it sounds like a kick drum and a tambourine that I put on my foot. And just kind of do my own thing, which is nice because I never get off from the drummer because I am the drummer.
It's evident. Before I let you go, I just would like you to talk to the audience about your concept of love and how you bring love to the world.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and I mentioned it a little bit actually in that last song, Dreamcatcher. Just I feel like sometimes people let their they'll let their differences break them apart, whether somebody with a different religion from you, somebody with a different skin color, different political beliefs or whatever, people let that get in between them and let that tear us apart, when in actual fact we all should be on the same team. We're all human beings.
We're all one human race, right?
Exactly. We all live on this planet together, and we're all we should be on the same team. We shouldn't be fighting each other, and I think that that's so important. And the only way that I know how to express that and to spread that is through music, and that's part of what I love about playing for people so much. I can play all I want in my own bedroom. It's not as fun as being here with you or being on stage or being on the street and actually reaching people and it's like a conversation,
Well, I mean, it's a musical conversation on the bandstand and with the audience.
Exactly.
But again, what were your intentions for getting into music?
I can't say I had intentions in getting into.
Did you have a calling? Is what I'm saying.
I grew up around music, and when I picked up the guitar, it just felt right. I just picked up the guitar and learned a couple chords, and immediately started writing songs, and immediately started learning everything I could get my hands on, every song that I heard that was interesting to me, and it just nothing else felt that way for me, and nothing else has felt that way for me.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah.
You didn't bring your kazoo, but
I didn't bring my kazoo.
But can you play a little tune before you go?
Yeah, I can play a little tune. Any requests in particular?
No, I don't like covers. I just like original tunes.
Just original music. All right.
Chelsea Williams, bless you, friend.
Well, you mentioned love, so this is one of the only actual love songs I have.
Good.
It's called Little Halo. You're my little halo. I can't see much past your light. Swing low by my window. Carry me far from this cold, cold night. Thrill me, my love. I can't get enough. Your hands, my heart tied up. Thrill me,
Can you say a couple words about Michael Jensen?
Michael Jensen.
My man, dude.
Oh, yeah, he's awesome. Michael Jensen's a great guy.
Jensen Communications is what connected me with you.
Oh, yeah. He's doing some publicity for me. Really cool guy. I actually met him like 5 years ago or something before I was signed to this label that I'm signed with now. And he gave me his card, and I must have lost it or something. I never called him back, and he came to several shows. And so we have this joke about how he was my stalker for a while.
He's a good man. And Chelsea Williams, best of luck to you, my friend. Bless you.
Thank you so much for doing this. This was a lot of fun.
See you later.
Bye.